Hello, and thanks for joining us for Chicago Tonight, opening day in Jackson Park. I'm Brandis Friedman, and we're live outside the Obama Presidential Center, bringing you all of the coverage on the city's south side. Full coverage today of the opening day ceremonies for the Obama Center, 5 years in the making. Here's what we're looking at.
And it was here, in this city, a city of broad shoulders, that I found what I was looking for.
A star-studded opening ceremony in Jackson Park today with President Obama paying heartfelt homage to his life in the city of Chicago. Then we go inside the Obama Center Museum to see what's in store for visitors ready to relive the Obama years and look forward to the future.
A sense of pride and delight that it's located here on the south side of Chicago.
We talk with Obama Foundation CEO Valerie Jarrett about what she thinks the center means to the city.
Architecture is actually designed from the inside out because it's here interior to the building that we spend our lives.
And Jeffrey Baer sits down with the Obama Center architects to hear how it all took shape. But first, a look at the events here at the Obama Presidential Center this morning and early afternoon. All four living former presidents, world leaders, and a star-studded musical lineup joined in on the South Side party. Performers included The Roots, Christina Aguilera, Stevie Wonder, and Bruce Springsteen, and Chicago's own Jennifer Hudson and Common. There were also a number of speakers leading up to the man of the hour, former President Barack Obama, of course, including former First Lady Michelle Obama. She told the crowd she had some bragging to do about her husband.
You were unflappable at every turn, always focused, always calm, always looking at the long view.
There were a couple of moments when the former president became emotional listening to his wife. He later told the crowd that he had no idea what she was planning to say because she wouldn't let him see her speech beforehand. Meanwhile, the former president recounted his move to Chicago in 1985 and its influence on his life.
And it was here, in this city, a city of broad shoulders, that I found what I was looking for. I found my purpose here. And I fortified my faith here. And I found my community here. Friendships that would last a lifetime. And I found a girl from the South Side who has been my greatest blessing.
He also talked about the values that he learned as a community organizer and how he carried those into the presidency.
I was possessed with this abiding faith that if we could give people more of a say in the forces that govern their lives, if we could bridge some of the differences that drove us apart, then we could build an America where everyone counts. These are the values and traditions I believe in. And they are not Republican or Democratic values. They're American values we can all share, regardless of party. Values every president here today, as different as we are, has tried our best to uphold.
And for those who weren't right here at the center, thousands gathered at Midway Plaisance Park, just west of the Obama Presidential Center, for a public watch party. Many attendees came from the South Side and neighborhoods where Obama worked as a community organizer. They say they were thrilled to celebrate the opening of the 19-acre Presidential Center. The crowd danced and sang along with the musical performances, looking much like the excited crowds of the Obama campaign trail. Our Joanna Hernandez spoke with several attendees about what the day means to them.
It was important for me to be here because it's full circle. I met Barack Obama before he was a senator or a president, and my cousin told me that he was going to be the president, and the fact that he's the president and they have a building, this is full circle, this is history.
It feels like freedom. It feels like family. Nobody dictating to us who we should be, what we should be.
I went to the March on Washington in 1963. I was 18 years old, so this is a full moment for me, historic moment for me.
And up next, we'll go right inside the Obama Presidential Center Museum. That's coming up right after this.
Chicago Tonight is made possible in part by the Alexandra and John Nichols family, the Polk Brothers Foundation, and the support of these donors.
Now, there's been lots of talk about the exterior design of the museum, and we're going to get to that in just a few minutes, of course, but it's also what's on the inside that counts, right? So far, only a handful of people have gotten to see the exhibits, the artifacts, the installations that are inside the Obama Presidential Center Museum, and now that includes you too. From the moment you set foot in the John Lewis Plaza, you know this isn't your ordinary presidential museum. Outside, you're immediately greeted by the Obamas. Sort of. I didn't stop to chat since I wanted to see what was inside. Upon entering the first museum floor, you're face to face with history.
President Obama really wanted to ensure that the story that we told was embedded in a nuanced contextual history, that we were lifting up and illustrating the idea of on whose shoulders we stand.
Museum director Louise Bernard says creating this experience with the Obamas was a journey.
People are coming to the museum and they begin their journey kind of rooted in this historical storytelling.
Storytelling tracing from the Declaration of Independence to women's suffrage to workers' rights and beyond.
Progress is never linear, it zigs and it zags, there's the push and the pull.
After the first floor, the museum has a laser focus on the Obamas. Each floor capturing a moment in time. Some heavier, like the aftermath of the Great Recession and the journey to pass the Affordable Care Act. And some that are sure to be crowd favorites.
On level 4, the People's House, about the life of the Obama White House, we have a full-scale replica of the Obama Oval Office.
And on level 4, you can also see some of Michelle Obama's iconic dresses.
You see how she's transformative in terms of her connection to fashion and style, engaging with a wide range of diverse designers.
Whether fashion, politics, or miniature moments from their White House years, you get a flavor of their time at 1600 Pennsylvania, according to Michael Stroutmanis, the Obama Foundation's Chief Corporate Affairs Officer.
This place really gives people an opportunity who weren't around then to go back in time and experience what that moment was like. I found it inspiring. I think our visitors are going to find that inspiring too. This is a place where you can be comfortable, right? You can touch it, you can feel it.
He says he wants the center to feel like an extension of the community.
Come have fun, play in the playground, shoot some hoops, have a picnic.
I think it's wonderful because now the young adults and the young kids will have the opportunity to be able to come to a place that can be familiar to them, something they can relate to.
I also want people to ask themselves at some point, like, well, what's my role in all of this? It's about democracy, it's about civic engagement, and that is a participatory sport.
As we both walked in, we were both like welling up with tears and just had smiles plastered on our faces, like feeling inspired in a moment where we can really use it.
All the videos that they had, it brought tears to my eyes. I remember those days when I was so proud to be an American.
I think it gives us hope. It reminds us we have the ability to really change things, use our voices, and actually create the change that we want.
They did a good job. Looks like it's supposed to.
While the entire OPC team says they're proud of what they've created, they acknowledge there are some things that are missing.
The one thing I wish that was in this library is that tan suit. I think a tan suit was cool.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Unfortunately, the word is he gave it away. So we've got a picture of it, but the tan suit itself, somebody out there has got it.
Thank you very much. Thank you, guys.
Now, Michael Stroutmanis says that the museum is still taking donations, so if anyone out there happens to know where that tan suit is, give them a call, okay? Up next, one-on-one with Obama Foundation CEO Valerie Jarrett.
Reflecting the people and perspectives that make up our communities, this story is part of Chicago Tonight, Black Voices.
Valerie Jarrett was the senior advisor to President Obama for the entirety of his 2 terms in the White House. That also made her the longest serving senior advisor in presidential history. Now she is the CEO of the Obama Foundation and obviously a key player in the creation of this center. We sat down with her to talk about the enormity of taking on this task.
Hi. Hello. How are you, Brandes? Welcome.
I am great. Thank
Welcome
you.
to the Obama Presidential Center. I waited a long time to say that.
You have. How does it feel to finally be here after, it's been a long road?
It has been a very long and arduous road, and it feels spectacular.
What does it mean for the library to be on the South Side, both for the library and also for the community that it's in?
Oh, I think it's a real gift to the community. I think that it will allow us to put a spotlight on the South Side, and that's deeply personal to me, as you know. I grew up here, rode my bike through Jackson Park and hung out at the Point in the Museum of Science and Industry, and also saw that the South Side didn't always get the infusion of capital that it deserved compared to the North Side and downtown. And so to now see this major economic engine that will drive investment not just here but in the surrounding community, as well as being kind of a beacon of hope for the world at a time when I think we sorely need that. That's one of the other comments I've gotten from people who visited, is this sense of, a renewed sense of hope, of hopefulness, which is hard sometimes, but quite palpable when you walk through the museum.
So we are also currently in the newest branch of the Chicago Public Library. Why did the president want to have a Chicago Public Library on site?
Well, literature for young children is something that's always been very important to both President and Michelle Obama. And so to have a Chicago Public Library so that the young people, particularly in the surrounding community, could come and enjoy this beautiful facility, venture into the presidential reading room where we're sitting now, and see the kinds of books that they favor, and spark their interest in literature is something really important to them.
So to be clear, presidential libraries, of course, they typically house the paper, the archives from the president's term. You all decided to digitize them so that they are accessible everywhere and leave that paper actually in the National Archives, correct?
So President Obama is the first digital president, and we have the capability to digitize now, and that's not something that was available to former presidents. And so he wanted to not take up all that space with paper. And in fact, this library is where the original location of the paper was going to go before we decided to invest in the digitization. And so, yes, the original papers will be held elsewhere, but everybody, whether you come here or you live on the other side of the world, will be able to go online soon and see all of his papers. And so we've then been able to put this space to a better use.
Okay, so speaking of spaces across the campus, there's the Forum next door. There's a cafe, auditorium, media suite, home court with the NBA regulation size basketball courts and event spaces, the fruit and vegetable garden. You mentioned the playground and what will be, it's the Great Lawn right now where folks can sled in the winter. 28 commissioned art installations. Do you think you left anything out?
Well, we'll see. If the public thinks that we should do other things, we'll look at that, particularly when it comes to the programming. How we use this space is going to be something that changes over time. And I look forward, for example, to movies on the Great Lawn and watching activities with our young people and getting them engaged not just in sports, but in good sportsmanship and learning to open their eyes to things that they never thought about before. I often say it's hard to be what you can't see. Well, you come here and you're going to be able to see infinite possibilities. And already the young people who've come through, I saw a couple of boys going into the Oval Office and sitting behind the desk and just imagining that they would be president, something that may not have occurred to them but for that visit to the Oval Office.
I'm sure that you are very familiar with and maybe attached to lots of different exhibits and pieces of the campus, but are there any that are particularly personal or remind you of any particular memory or memories of your time with the Obamas?
Well, they're all very personal. Since I was there for all 8 years, you can believe that. But I will say one that I think says a lot about his presidency is called 10 Letters a Day. So every day during the 8 years President Obama was in office, his correspondence team selected 10 letters of the nearly 40,000 that he received every single day. And so they looked for a representative sampling of those letters and would send up 10. to his home. And so in the evening when he was working, he would take a break and he would read the letters and respond to them, handwritten notes back. And then next to the 10 letters, and we have 10 letters that are framed, is a video with a narration of people reading the letters and him responding to the letters at the end. And it was his way of staying in touch with the American people. And sometimes being president can be isolating if you let it. And we did a lot of different efforts to engage people and bring them into the White House so he could hear the stories of the American people. But throughout, to just get those 10 letters every single day. And believe me, some of them are very complimentary, some of them are not. Some of them are people who changed their mind based on events, and some of them were people who had very strong opinions and wanted to express them to him.
So, as we've discussed, getting here took a while. There's pushback from the community over concerns around gentrification, pushing out longtime residents. Just recently, a report from the Illinois Answers Project showed that a number of the initiatives that the city included in its anti-displacement ordinance for Woodlawn residents, they either weren't properly managed or funded, thus yielding little protection, right? So the median sale price for a single-family home has ballooned up 4.6 times the price it was 10 years ago when the library was announced. Was there more that the foundation could have done, do you think, with the city or with the community?
Look, I think we did our part really well. Number one, designing it, designing the campus, talking to the community and hearing what they wanted to see present here, reaching out to make sure that contractors from the community did the work. We hired nearly 5,000 construction workers. Those are people who came predominantly from the south and west side, so we created jobs. We have permanent jobs, nearly 500 at the foundation as a whole. 250 who'll be here on campus. We recruited from the community. So as an economic engine, the $850 million that we spent and the people who worked to create this campus, whose names will be on a wall, a worker wall that we have created here at the center, that's our part in doing what we can do. We work closely with the aldermen. We work closely with Emerald South, a terrific organization that's working on planning ways in which we can market from here for the shops and restaurants in the surrounding community. We're going to work closely with the Museum of Science and Industry to market together. We want people to not just come and visit our campus. We want them to see all of the jewels on the south side of Chicago. And we are hopeful that this capital investment is going to help spur additional job opportunities and stores and businesses in this community. That's our part. That's us doing the best of what we can do.
But some critics also observe sort of the growth of presidential libraries as sort of shifting to become monuments to the former president or an opportunity for the former president, whoever he may be, to sort of rewrite some of that history in the president's favor. What do you say to that, and how do you see the intent, the function of a presidential library?
Well, this presidential campus is not intended to be a monument to President Obama. It begins with the people upon whose shoulders he stands, with our Declaration of Independence, the suffrage movement, slavery, Reconstruction, civil rights movement, all of the different efforts by ordinary people to bring about change that made his presidency possible. And so we tell that story. Then we do tell the story of his presidency, but we tell the story not simply of what went well, but also where we were unsuccessful. We try to be very honest and open about that so that people can learn from it. 7 presidents before President Obama tried to pass legislation to improve our healthcare system. We were successful, but because in large part those efforts paved the way. And so we are hopeful for where we fell short, we're paving the way for future efforts. And so this is really designed not to look backwards, except for the purpose of helping move forward. And all of our programs are designed to help young people predominantly develop the kind of leadership skills that they need to pick up that baton and do their part. And the letters on the outside of the museum, which are from President Obama's speech on the 50th anniversary of the walk across the Edmund Pettus Bridge, is titled "We Are America." And it challenges all of us to pick up that glorious task of improving our nation. And so that's the future. That's what we really intended this campus to be. And a piece of it is a presidential museum, but it is so much more.
And up next, Obama Center architects speak with our own Jeffrey Bear about their vision for this new South Side destination. At the end of his presidency, architects around the world were asked one single question. Who wants to design the new Obama Presidential Center on the south side of Chicago? Well, 140 firms applied, but only one got the gig. WTTW's Jeffrey Bear sat down with the architects to discuss the creativity that would change the skyline on the south side.
He wanted to be a living place with lots of energy and all of the interests that he had as a young man and as a president, rather than a mausoleum.
He was a very interesting client, a very knowledgeable client.
Todd Williams and Billy Tien of TWBTA are the architects who won the bid for the Obama Presidential Center, a process that took months to secure and included a one-on-one meeting with then-President Obama in the Oval Office.
It was, certainly thrilling, but also slightly terrifying.
The bowl of apples that you always see in pictures? Mm-hmm. I took an apple and I kept it for a really, really long time.
And you didn't take a bite of that thing, so.
No, it was a special apple.
There would be plenty more apples where that came from, because the architects landed the bid thanks to their campus design that was neighborhood inclusive, a non-negotiable for the Obamas.
Mrs. Obama was very involved in emphasizing the importance of this being a place for families and for people to come and feel a sense of joy. She was very much about the site and how it's going to be used by the people of Chicago.
This is apparent when you look at the campus from above. The winding trails lead you everywhere from a basketball court to a sledding hill to a library to the most prominent piece of the 19.3-acre campus, the 8-story museum building.
So this does not look like any other presidential library, right?
Right, you are. And that was the intention.
The 225-foot museum, with a shape inspired by 4 hands coming together, had several design changes over the years, including the facade, which was originally set to be marble. But Chicago contractors knew that material wouldn't stand up to our extreme seasonal weather changes.
They were saying, no way are we going to put our names to a building that's made out of marble.
So Williams and Tien pivoted to granite, specifically tapestry granite from New Hampshire, with its marble-like swirls.
It was very intriguing to us, and the fact that it changes so much. So when it rains, it becomes very dark and moody, but then it dries out very quickly and becomes sort of a little bit more pink.
The striking exterior has come under some harsh criticism, being called cold, foreboding, even monolithic. But the architects explain that the form follows function.
We judge people by what they look like, and we need to understand that we have to go deeper to get to the real person. So that's the way we are.
Yeah.
And I can't help that. I'm actually quite happy that we're not trying to present the whole person on the outside.
The museum exhibits required windowless rooms.
Because of the artifacts and because of the lighting and because of the creation of a sense of drama. So they didn't want bright lights. So that was a sort of done deal.
Up top, the building is wrapped in 5-foot letters from Barack Obama's "You Are America" speech, which marked the 50th anniversary of the march from Selma to Montgomery. And that's where the windowless exterior gives way to light. Up here in the Nelson Mandela Sky Room on the 8th floor, you look through the words of Barack Obama at a view of Chicago that's not normally celebrated. Instead of the skyscrapers downtown, you see a sweeping vista of the West Side and also the South Side, a place Michelle and Barack Obama call home. The architects intended the words to be read only in fragments from below.
Well, to some extent, we realize that decoration at the top of the building is often not perfectly discernible to people who are on the land below. So we realized it needed to animate the top.
Presidential Center CEO Valerie Jarrett says that looking through the words from the top is almost like being inside the mind of President Obama, who called the speech one of his most meaningful, as it, quote, best captures what America should be, a sentiment Williams and Tian hope their new campus will foster for the future.
I think the best of this building is to come.
Is to come.
And it's going to come way beyond our own lives. It may be 200 years out, maybe 500. I hope it's that long.
For Chicago Tonight, I'm Jeffrey Baer.
And if you haven't heard already, the Obama Center, of course, it opens tomorrow, though at last check, tickets are sold out through the fall. Okay, that's our show for this Thursday night. I'm Brandis Friedman, and for everyone here at Chicago Tonight, thank you for watching. Stay healthy and safe, and be sure to join us tomorrow night at 5:30 and 7 for the Week in Review.
Closed captioning is made possible by Robert A. Clifford and Clifford Law Offices, a Chicago personal injury and wrongful death firm that serves the needs of clients in the Chicago area and throughout the nation.